Hi there, everybody. This is David, and welcome to New RPG News, where every single weekend we go over everything that is fit to print. Tons of different news stories this week, from maybe a new Xenoblade, new IP, new Xenogears, new Xeno something, to some Dragon Quest III HD news, to a lost Dragon Quest game that will probably never be found, to a really rare game being reprinted that we can grab now. I'm going to be going all over all those stories, and I do think that is worth a sub, as I do try my hardest to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your help, your like, and your sub, I do think that I can get there. So thank you so much for your help with that. And now, let's start reviewing some of the stories that I already did go over in full videos earlier in the week. So I'm just going to go through them pretty quickly. First up, Monolift Soft first production team hiring for a new RPG, executive directed by Tetsuya Takahashi. He is the person in charge of Monolift Soft, in charge of Xenoblade. He also did the Xenogears series. He also did Baten Kaitos 3. He did all that good stuff with Monolift Soft. And he says here that he's taking on more new challenges compared to previous titles. So this is going to be bigger and better than anything ever before. He says that he can't go into any further details, but he is hiring for a 2D artwork staff as well as a 3D character designer. So it looks like it's a kind of a mixture between 2D and 3D here. So we don't know what it is. It could be a brand new IP. Could be a Xenoblade 4, could be a Xenogears, could be a Baten Kaitos 3, we don't know, but I did go into this much more in depth in a previous video, so if you do want to check that out, be sure to. Similar to the previous Monolift Soft story, I also did an entire video on this article right here, going over all the new details and new episodes and the world in Dragon Quest III HD 2D, because there's a lot here. We already knew that there was going to be various extra bonus scenes and scenarios and things like that, but we didn't know what they were related to. Apparently, they are related to Ortega's quest, who is the hero's father. So we're going to get to see some flashbacks of what happened to him during his adventure, during his time, rather than just kind of see him, fall into a volcano and die, like we saw in the original NES version right there. So not only do we get to see that, we also get to see him meet some past characters, such as Simon. We get to see him go into Muir Village, drop off his helmet. We also get to see new boss monsters appearing as well. It goes much further in depth on the various lands, various towns, other name changes, localization changes, and again, I did make a full video on this article, so if you want to see all those changes, please do go back and watch that video as well. Guess what's back? Final Fantasy 1-6 Pixel Remastered Collection is back with a retail release for the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, launching October 8th in the West. This is available not just on the Square Enix store, but also through retailers. It does not look like the huge, massive collector's edition is included in this. It's just the physical base game. One thing to note was that you were able to already purchase the Switch version of the game over on PlayAsia, but the PS4 version was completely sold out. It's actually one of the rarest games on the PlayStation 4, so now that is available, thus, reducing that price. So if you don't have a Switch and you still want to play these games, it is now available on the PS4, and you can pre-order them now. It looks like it's going to be $75 to play, again, Final Fantasy 1-6 Pixel Remastered versions. If you didn't get this the first time around, don't miss it again. Some people will love this, some people hate this. Personally, I love it. I really liked Queen's Blood, and it looks like the remake Part 3 will include Queen's Blood in a revamped version, probably adding in more cards, more strategy. It's not just going to be, cut and paste. They're going to add in some extras right there. It says right here, the director Naoki Hamaguchi confirmed that the third entry of the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy will feature the card minigame. An attendee asked the team if they had plans to release a physical version of Queen's Blood, to which Hamaguchi answered that he's received many requests. Then he added that the team is currently preparing a revamped or even better version of Queen's Blood for the trilogy's next installment. There wasn't any more concrete information about what this new iteration might be like, aside from Hamaguchi saying that he hopes to be able to share details in the near future. So again, we don't know anything else about it. All we know is that this minigame will be included in the third installment. I know that I've said before that Rebirth had a lot of forced minigames, especially in Coast of Soul. Kind of bothered me. But the one minigame that I really enjoyed was Queen's Blood. I like card minigames. I like Blade in the Trails of Cold Steel series too. I liked, Triple Triad. I like these card minigames, so I am glad that that is getting included. We have even more good news! NISA is committed to bringing Falcom's Trails and Ys games to the West at a faster pace. We know that NISA, they localize a lot of different stuff, but the main two things that they localize are Trails and Ys from Falcom, and we also know that, Ys can come out at a pretty quick pace because, it's an action RPG and it doesn't have that much dialogue in it. The Trails series is a whole other ball game. It is one of the wordiest game series out there. It's like visual novel meets RPG, but it's like it's even wordier than some visual novels. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. So it says right here, Western fans are just now 2 games removed from the latest Trails release in Japan, which is a huge deal whenever you consider previous release timelines. Trails Through Daybreak launched last month here in the West, and its sequel is already scheduled for early 2025. This was pretty much unthinkable scenario even just a few years back. Yeah, it really was, especially when Xseed was dealing with it. Man, they were slow. I can't really talk specifically to what we've done internally to do so, but I can say that we've been working hard to make sure that we do localize Falcom games more quickly, NISA's Alan Costa told PC Gamer. We've recently announced Trails Through Daybreak 2 that's coming out next year, which is a substantial cut down in terms of the timeline that we used to have for the Trails games. And as you can probably guess based on the timing of this game, we're also working on Ys 10 concurrently. He continues, we do want to bring that timeline down. We do want to bring games out as quickly as possible, but not at the expense of the localization quality. Finding that balancing act is something that we've been working on for years at this point, and we're getting better at it. I think that they are getting better at it. I love NISA as far as I'm concerned. They're one of the top 3 developers. You got Square Enix, you got NISA, you got Atlas as far as RPGs are concerned. So I think that this is great. They bring over so many good things, and they're getting really quick about it, and I applaud them. We have a huge trailer for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Traversing Hyrule trailer. This one's about 6 minutes long. If you want to watch the entire trailer, I suggest you do so on your own time, because I'm going to spend 6 minutes on this. But I am going to go over it in the quickest way that I do know how, as I normally do. So they talk about the various regions of Hyrule, and this seems to be based upon the Link to the Past Hyrule, and it shows the Gerudo Desert. It also shows the Jabul waters where the Zoras are and everything else like that. It shows the Elden Volcano, which I believe used to just be called Death Mountain, but now they've changed it to Elden Volcano. I think that was first introduced in, Skyward Sword, I believe. Then it looks like they also changed the name of the village to Pakariko Village instead of Kakariko Village or Karakiko. Karakiko? I think it was Karakiko Village. It's been a minute since I played Link to the Past. So yeah, then it also has the Faron Wetlands. All these places were in the Link to the Past. Then it talks about waypoints, which is essentially their way of fast traveling. Once you've found a waypoint, you can return to it quickly by just selecting it on your map. Then it also says that you can gallop, so I guess you can have a horse. You can gallop right over weaker enemies and send them flying, and hop over smaller obstacles with ease. Once you learn to make a carrot echo, you'll be able to call upon your trusty steed from anywhere in the overworld. So yeah, you can, summon a carrot, and then the horse comes over, and then you can ride the horse throughout the overworld. So that's really cool. I would assume the horse's name is Apuna. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's also smoothie shops, which I guess is Echoes of Wisdom's crafting mechanic. It says, as you explore, you may come across smoothie shops manned by business scrubs. Little scrub. Here you can blend the ingredients that you've collected into delicious drinks. They have different effects based on the ingredients that you choose. So it's probably like, the witch's potions or the witch's brews that it used to be. Now it's smoothies and all that. Or maybe they'll still have those health potions and mana potions, but the smoothies might, increase your defense or something. I don't really know. Then it talks about the power of binding and bonding. So let's talk about these 2 different things. It says that if you bind an object to Zelda, it will follow her. So if you come across like a huge massive boulder or something that you can't move yourself, you can bind that boulder to Zelda, and then you just walk and it will follow Zelda. And then you'll be able to move it that way and maybe unearth treasures or things like that. Then it talks about if you actually want to follow a moving object yourself, rather than having the object follow you by binding it, if you want to follow it yourself, you bond to it. So if you see like a bird and you want to be able to fly too, you're going to bond with it. It just showed the horse. It's like a My Little Pony. I don't know. It's My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic Horse. I don't know. I'm just looking at this trailer for the first time. So anyway, you can bond yourself to like a bird or something and then go flying through the air. So that's actually really cool. I am really, really looking forward to this Zelda game. I don't want to hear about how it's not an RPG because it's my news show. And I'm talking about the games that I love. Who here remembers Crosscode? I do! That was one of the really good indie RPGs that came out a couple of years back. It seems like, there's a billion indie RPGs that come out, and you just gotta, find the good ones, and Crosscode was one of the good ones. This is gonna be an action RPG for the consoles and the PC. It says right here it features a fast-paced combat system inspired by Devil May Cry, Kingdom Hearts, and of course, Crosscode. It's going to be available for unspecified consoles as well as the PC, and a demo is planned for release in early 2025, followed by early access launch in late 2025. It says right here that this has a deep and engaging combat system, challenging puzzles, and an epic story set in a curious world ready to explore and discover its secrets. The shadow of Nyx has fallen, warping the world into a wasteland and vanishing the god and their people. Now Juno, the outcast chosen, awakes to an impossible task: bring it all back. It has a planned 30 to 60 hours of playtime in this massive adventure with 7 unique areas and many secrets to uncover. You'll be rebuilding settlements, establishing trade routes, and advancing science by helping people. Each bigger advancement will be accompanied by the settlements changing visually, opening up new paths and opportunities. There's a lot in here, and again, I just kind of briefly go over this because I don't want to get too in-depth on it unless I do like a specific video on it or something like that. But I will say this: Crosscode, fantastic. I am totally looking forward to this. Whenever the demo drops, I'll probably have a review. Haruka Beyond the Stars is to be published by Playism, due out in 2026. This was previously already announced to come out in 2025, and it was also previously announced to come out for consoles, the PS5, the Switch, but now it's coming out a year later, and for the PC. People did ask them questions saying hey, what about the console versions? They didn't respond, so that kind of sucks. Personally, I must have missed the first announcement because I've never heard of this game before in my life, but I saw the pictures and I saw the trailer and it looks cute as a button. So let me go ahead and read to you about it. It says, humankind faces its twilight in the far future. Having explored every corner of the universe, people have stopped progressing. Their lifestyle is now dependent on energy capsules, a legacy of their past. Yuki is a boy living in Spica Village, a base for receiving energy capsules from the lunar ruins. One night, he meets Mia, a mysterious girl who crash landed due to a spaceship malfunction. Their meeting sparks the beginning of an intergalactic journey in search of Yuki's father, who left for space to unravel the mystery behind humankind's decline. So just looking at this, it looks to me like it's turn-based. Like I see them standing over there, I see them hitting, I see like the life bars over in the corner and everything. I see small numbers, which to me is always a thing of turn-based. Also, just looking at the pictures, it's giving me Ni no Kuni vibes. It's giving me Dark Cloud 2 vibes. Very level 5-ish. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. Let's go! Neptunia Game Maker R Evolution for the Xbox Series launches in October. It's currently already available on the Switch, PS4, and PS5, but now it is coming over to the Xbox because I'm sure everybody at Xbox is clamoring for more Nep Nep action! Yay! It's going to be available both physically and digitally in the West. Shocking, I know. So yeah, this is the Game Maker game where you acquire shares and you have to wage a battle for war of supremacy and all this, and you battle for the survival of the game industry by making the best game ever, or something like that. I don't know. I think that this is interesting to me because I saw this argument over on the Twitter where people were going on about how Xbox didn't get any RPGs, and they were mostly focusing on Falcom and Nisa releases and things like that, and I just think it's kind of funny how they're not getting, it's so mean to say, but I don't know, it just makes you laugh. It's like, they're not getting Ys, they're not getting Trails, they're not getting Disgaea, they're not getting, all these off-kilter Nisa releases, but they're getting every single Idea Factory release. Woohoo! The Fairy Tail series is going indie. We have 3 different indie Fairy Tail games announced for the PC. There's Fairy Tail Dungeons, Fairy Tail Beach Volleyball Havoc, and Fairy Tail Birth of Magic. It says right here, this is called the Fairy Tail Indie Game Guild, multiple games. The first one, Fairy Tail Dungeons, is going to launch on October 26th, and the Fairy Tail Beach Volleyball Havoc is going to launch on September 16th, and then the third one, Birth of Magic, is going to follow on a later date. So let's go over all 3 of these games right here. Fairy Tail Dungeon sets the characters of the Fairy Tail series exploring a dungeon using only a limited number of moves and a strategically built deck of skill cards to take down foes as they make it to the deepest depths. So it looks like it's a deck building, rogue-like, dungeon crawler type of game right here. Moving on to Beach Volleyball Havoc. God, they're so ugly. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to go on a little tangent here. When I was a kid, and you had animation, and you watched the Smurfs, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or whatever it was, the Darkwing Duck, all these different TV shows, all these different cartoons, like, it was cute! Like, it was cute! And then nowadays, you look at these cartoons, and they're so ugly! I don't know what happened. Like, they're so ugly. I can't even deal with it. Like, you watch, like, Dexter's Laboratory or something, it's like, what are they doing? It's so ugly. Anyway, this is a competitive, chaotic, action-packed, magic-loaded beach volleyball game featuring characters from the Fairy Tail series. The Kingdom of Fiore's annual beach volleyball tournament is underway, but once mages from all over Ishgar show up, things get heated and the whole tournament is thrown into chaos. Oh no, look how ugly! Great. God, look at those colors! Like, what is happening right here? Like, you can't even barely see the characters. It's like, there's a lot going on here. Good lord. Good lord. Look at, holy crap, that's like... Anyway. Fairy Tail Birth of Magic. This is a provisional title, and it's a magic fighting game with a concept of creating unique, original magic and magical showdowns. It's currently in active development, and details will be published as they are known. So we don't know much about that. We don't even know the genre, whatever creative magic action is. I don't know what kind of genre that is, but whatever. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Fairy Tail series... then definitely look forward to these 3 games. We have a new trademark for Yakuza Wars in Japan. More than likely, the next Like a Dragon or Yakuza game. I do know that Sega said that they were wanting to create or trying to make Yakuza like a yearly annual game, kind of like Persona is an annual series, making Yakuza an annual series as well. They filed this trademark on July 26th over in Japan. It was just made public today. It says right here, Sega has yet to announce a game with this title or a subtitle. It could be related to an upcoming Like a Dragon game. No, it's related to a Sonic game. Like, give me a break. Of course it's related to a Yakuza game. So yeah, very... you know what it could be, maybe? Maybe it might be like a Yakuza fighting game, like a Super Smash Brothers or something. I don't know. But, or it could be like Gang Wars, the different Yakuza factions fighting each other in Japan. I don't know. But this is very exciting. And now, just like we had 3 Fairy Tail games, we're having 3 Fate games. Fate Extra Record launches in 2025 for the PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. It says right here, the Moon Holy Grail War begins anew. The setting is Spirit-Ron virtual world called Seraph built on the moon. Masters and servants team up to fight for survival in pursuit of the Holy Grail, an omnipotent wish-granting device, in the Holy Moon Grail War, which begins once again. This is a remake of Fate Extra, the first Fate series RPG, originally released back in 2010, and is now revamped for modern hardware with an expanded scenario, refreshed character graphics, and dramatic command utilizing a highly strategic deck-building system. The next one that has been announced is Fate Stay Night Remastered, launching on August 8th. This is a digital-only release. This is a remastered version of Fate Stay Night, fantasy action drama visual novel, and Type Moon's first ever commercial release in 2004. It's going to be re-released for its 20th anniversary. This remaster is based upon the 2012 PS Vita release, featuring the series' first adaptation into languages such as English and simplified Chinese, as well as graphics and animations rendered in full high def. experience in vivid detail the story of... I got so far into this news show without having to deal with these Japanese pronunciations. The story of Shiro Emiya? A teenage boy with dreams of becoming a hero of justice and his battle revolving around the omnipotent, wish-granting vessel, the Holy Grail. And now for number 3, we have Fate Hollow Ataraxia Remastered, announced for the Switch and PC. So yeah, it says that this one here, its release date was not yet announced, and this is a remastered version, of course, of Fate Hollow Ataraxia for the Switch and PC. So yeah, not much known about this one right there, but we have, if you're a fan of the Fate series, then you got 3 games, 3 remakes, 3 remasters coming up for you. And in our final story, and in news of the weird, an unreleased SNES Dragon Quest prototype could be lost for good, as the only alleged copy of the 1993 JRPG worth $50,000 was sold to a private collector. So, let me tell you all about this. I lived this. This was my life. I remember this. We got all the games for Dragon Warrior on the NES. And Enix went ahead and they gave us all sorts of weirdo games on the SNES as well. Games like Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Robo Trek, even Seventh Saga, all that stuff was from Enix. Then they closed down their American offices, and we didn't get the Dragon Warrior games. We didn't get Dragon Warrior 5, we didn't get Dragon Warrior 6, we didn't get this spin-off either, Torneko's Great Adventure Mystery Dungeon. Back in the day, we wouldn't have even known what this was, because Mystery Dungeon games just didn't exist back then, at least not in the West. And it says right here, this is an SNES game in which you collect items in randomized dungeons as the merchant from Dragon Quest IV. Despite being a success, the game never saw a proper release or translation outside of Japan. But whispers about an official, unreleased English version called Taloon's Great Adventure Mystery Dungeon have been floating around the internet for decades. SNES Central mentioned the shadowy project years ago, recorded in the website's archives. In an old interview with Nintendo Age's e-zine, game counselor Tom Christensen also mentioned that he playtested the localized version while he was still in development, and he apparently loved it. That brings us up to the modern age, where a now delisted eBay seller claimed to have a copy of Taloon's Great Adventure and wanted to offload it for £50,000, around $53,000. An archive listing includes screenshots from the game, pictures of the cartridge, and claims that the prototype comes from a former Nintendo employee who had access to product analysis, the department that was responsible for Nintendo's internal quality assurance department. The prototype was in private possession for a good 20 years and was never publicly exhibited or given away. So yeah, it looks like Sack Chief, another YouTuber, tried to crowdfund for this and tried to purchase this, or at least tried to have him dump it onto the internet so that, you know, we fans could play it, but he didn't want to do that, and he wanted to sell it for the $50K. So yeah, it says right here, the long-running mystery will only continue to drag on as Square Enix and Nintendo have never publicly acknowledged that an English port was ever in development, and 3 decades on, the likelihood of that happening only becomes slimmer. A couple things to note. This was translated by a translation group, so it is available to play in English, but this isn't the unofficial translated version. This is the official translated version that they're talking about. This is a prototype version that was never released that they were talking about. Also, do not get this confused with Torneko The Last Hope, which is the PlayStation sequel that we did get on the PlayStation. This is the first Mystery Dungeon game starring him that we did not get. So that is what is happening right here. Very, very, very sad news. Hopefully the purchaser will, I don't know, see this, please, maybe, and then contact Sack Chief in order to have him dump it, because I don't know how to dump a ROM. So hopefully he can do that for him. But anyway, that is it for this week's New RPG News. I do hope that y'all enjoyed it, and let me know what stories you liked. Let me know if there's any stories that you want me to cover for next time, and as always, have a good day.